afternoon, everyone. So I'm working for Siemens. For those who don't know Siemens, it's a very large corporation. We're in different activity, healthcare, mobility, and I'm part of a group called Grid Software. So we are selling smart grid solutions for utilities. And I'm leading the team of sales and execution team for Southeast Asia. I've been in the utility industry for 20 years, and I'm based in Singapore for almost 10 years. I think the technology is here. What I can talk about is also how we can... Bill was mentioning about the silos. I think this is something that exists, and unfortunately those silos sometimes are creating some problem with the quality of the data. So if I just take as example the network model. So let's say in a utility you have like the planning department, you have the production department, you have the operation real-time, operation planning, and so on. And each of them, they are managing their own data, their own network model. And the thing is, in the past, yes, they still need to share the data, right? But in the past, it was quite easy because the network was static. Now with DER, you have changes happening almost every hour, so they need some kind of coordination between them to make it happen. So the technology exists today, and what we need to have is also some sort of framework or some of like SIM implementation in order to make sure that we share those data effectively. So I was mentioning before about data quality, about utilities maintaining different models, and one of the ways to improve the quality is to avoid having different models, to have only one source of truth. And since we have Bill here from S3, I'll make you a favor. We speak about S3. So usually we say, like, if we have an integration between an ADMS and a GIS, so sometimes we see utilities, everything is separate, so each of them, they have their own, they maintain their own systems. So it's important to have only one single source of truth and some mechanism in between to make sure that the data providing are correct. And that's one way to improve the quality of the data. I just would like to give one example of how maximizing the use of data can improve the reliability of the grid. If, as we discussed before, we remove the silos between different departments. So let's say if you have the operation department dealing with the OMS, outage management system, ADMS. And on the other side, you have the meter department just dealing with MDM, smart metering. Then if you don't really exchange the data, then the OMS will just wait for people to call. And on the other side, on the smart metering, they will just use the data for billing. Now, if you manage to have some sort of communication between cross-departments, technology-wise, it's very easy to integrate. Then you can really leverage the data coming from the smart meters, not only for billing purpose, but you can also use them, like the last gap message, you send it back to the OMS, and you can detect and restore the power before the customer calling. So it's just one example to show that if we remove the silos, then we can really maximize the use of the data. Because for me, I mean, there is no grid transformation without data. I think technology-wise, as a technology provider, I think most solutions exist today. What we hope is that all the silos can be removed, not for TNB or PA, of course, in the utility, then all utilities can get most of their data and the technologies that exist today.